All right, let's talk about the stock market. You hear about it all the time, but what is it really? My goal here is super simple, to cut through the confusion and show you how this whole thing actually works. Let's get into it.
So, when I say stock market, what's the first thing that pops into your head? For a lot of us, it's this image, right? A giant, complicated casino. It feels like you're just throwing your money on the table and it's all random and honestly, a little intimidating.
But here's the thing, that's not really the right way to look at it at all. In fact, thinking of it as a casino can get you into a whole lot of trouble. So let's just take that idea, toss it out, and build a way simpler and frankly much more accurate way of thinking about this. Okay, at its absolute core, the stock market is just that, a market. Seriously, forget all the flashy numbers and the wild charts for just a second. I want you to picture a huge marketplace where the things being bought and sold are just tiny, tiny pieces of actual companies. That's really it. Now, to make this whole thing feel a little less abstract and a little more real, let's follow a story. We're going to invent a company. Let's call it the Friendly Coffee Co. Watching its journey will help us see exactly how a regular business ends up on this massive marketplace. So picture this. The Friendly Coffee Co. starts out small, but it's a huge hit. People love it. They want to open new shops in cities all over the country. But that takes a ton of money, way more than they have. So they decide to go public with an IPO, an initial public offering. All that means is they sell off little pieces of their company, we call them shares, to the public for the very first time to raise all that cash. And once that's done, those shares can be bought and sold by pretty much anyone on the stock market. And this right here, this is the crucial point. When you buy one of those shares, you're not just buying a digital blip on a screen. No way. You are literally buying a tiny, tiny fraction of the entire business. The coffee shops, the brand, the future profits, the whole shebang. You become a part owner. Okay, so you can imagine with thousands of companies out there, this giant marketplace could get pretty chaotic, right? Well, to keep it all straight, every company gets a unique code, kind of like a shorthand nickname. It's called a ticker symbol. So for our Friendly Coffee Co., its ticker on the market might be something simple, like FRND. All right, let's pause here, because what we're about to cover is probably the single most important concept you need to grasp to really understand the market, and it's where almost everybody gets tripped up. We have to talk about the huge difference between a stock's price and the company's actual value. Believe me, they are not the same thing. Let's break this down. The stock price, that's the number you see flashing on the news. It's just what someone is willing to pay for a share at this exact second. It's all about short-term mood, daily headlines, hype, and fear. Now, the company's value, that's the real story. That's the underlying worth of the actual business. It's based on real stuff, like how much profit it makes, what it owns, and how much it can grow over the long term. The price can swing like a pendulum every single second, but the true value of a business, that changes much, much slower. I love this quote because it just cuts right to the heart of it. A stock's price isn't some magical number that comes out of thin air. Nope. It is literally just a record of the most recent transaction, the last time a buyer and a seller agreed on a price. That is all it is. So if we look up our coffee company, FRND, and we see the price is, say, $25.50, what does that mean? It just means the last person who bought a share and the last person who sold a share digitally shook hands at that exact price. Okay, so that naturally leads to a really, really important question. If the price is $25.50, does that automatically mean the Friendly Coffee Co. is a solid, well-run, profitable business? Does that price tell you anything about the quality of the company? And the answer is not necessarily. The price is just a number reflecting the market's mood today. The real story, the thing that actually matters, is the value. Is the business, with all its potential, actually worth that price in the long run? Sometimes the market gets excited and pushes the price way higher than the value, and sometimes it gets scared and pushes it way lower. So, to help you cut through all that noise and think a little more clearly whenever you see the financial news, I'm going to give you a super simple mental checklist you can use. This is how you go from being a passive watcher to an active thinker. So, the next time you see a stock price going wild on the news, just run through these three questions. 1. What does this company actually do? What's the real business behind the ticker symbol? 2. Why might the price be jumping around today? Is there some specific news, or is it just general panic or hype? And 3, the big one. Does this price seem connected to or disconnected from the company's actual long-term worth? It's an incredibly powerful little framework.
Okay, we have covered a ton of ground, so let's boil it all down. If you're going to walk away from this explainer remembering just three things, please make it these three. Number one, the stock market is not a casino. It's a marketplace for buying and selling slices of real businesses. Number two, a stock's price is just the last trade. It is not the same thing as the company's underlying value. That's a huge one. And number three, price is all about short-term mood. Value is all about the long-term health of the business. The main point here is that you now have a solid mental framework, a better way to see things. So the next time you see a headline screaming about the market doing something crazy, you won't just see the noise. You'll be able to look a little deeper and understand what's really going on. And that kind of leaves us with one last nagging question, doesn't it? We know today's price is just the result of the last trade, but how in the world was the very first price decided? Back at the IPO for a company like our friendly Coffee Co. Well, that is a great question, and it's exactly what we'll tackle next time. Thanks for watching.